boop. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. We are back again.
On a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm
We're
Cage.
suffering for you.
That's Chair.
That's
Yeah, my
Chair.
doggy is here on me lap because he missed me. Yeah. I just got home like 15 minutes ago, so I whipped up some leftovers, and now I'm eating. But yeah, we're here today, obviously, for a purpose, and that purpose is to talk about the Acolyte episodes 1 through 3. You've watched them all now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I watched like up to the end of 3. Like I finally zoned in at the last minute when they were like, they were all. I saw most of the episode, the death, like the witch council and all that kind of stuff. By the way, spoilers.
Yeah. Well.
Major
Yeah.
spoilers.
Oh yeah. I have
Major
to update the
spoilers.
title
Yeah.
as well. Hold
Yeah,
on.
spoilers.
Doggy, go down, please. Come on. Thank you. I had to do that because if I didn't, he would eat my food as soon as I put it down. So I have to update this title. But in addition to that, there's some other Star Wars stuff that's happening. Acolyte review and discussion. Spoiler warning. Okay, I don't know of any of that typed in, but when it eventually loads, I'll update the title. But the other thing is, we forgot to talk about during our Lord of the Rings news discussion, the War of the Rohirrim movie.
Well, the anime, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much 100% anime. Well, like 1,000% anime.
Yeah.
So.
Well, those are two of my favorite things. Two of our other, we've had someone who always joined our conversations when we're doing Lord of the Rings talk. She is currently really tired because she switched schedules and she works in airports. So, they work really intense schedules sometimes. So she's working the super early morning shift right now, and she's just acclimating in the middle of acclimating. So she's been really tired these past few weekends. But I'm sure once we get that started, she'll want to watch it, and she'll probably join in for our discussions. And she loves anime like I do, and she loves Lord of the Rings way more than I do. So I'm sure hopefully she'll love it.
Yeah. The other thing was Dave Filoni had said pretty much like, as far as George Lucas is concerned, he has like an open door policy. Like George Lucas is always welcome, and he like frequently consults with him and stuff, which is pretty much expected. But he said he doesn't think he'd ever really come back to Star Wars just because he has too much other stuff going on or something like that. So. But also, before we get to the Acolyte, I mentioned the Star Wars Oreos. All right.
Yeah. Are they here? Are they here?
Listen, I've seen 4 packages of Star Wars Oreos open. Every single one was red. I got 2 more here. We're going to see if we can get a blue. They look like this. Right? And you can either get red or blue. And so they even have it on the back. And they have little characters.
Doesn't that kind of... Wait. Flip it back around to the cover. Oh, okay. I thought that was the 2 characters in the Acolyte. Never mind.
No.
Like a spoiler. I thought that would be like a spoiler for a second.
No. All right. So I'm going to open it up for anybody watching to see. And... oh my goodness. They're blue. They exist. They exist.
Blue. They're red and blue.
No, these ones are only... They're only one color.
We're gonna have a live taste test.
No, I've tasted them all before. They're delicious. But they have characters on them, right? So, this is Princess Leia.
Man, I haven't had, like, legit Oreos in a minute. I'll need to go get some of those now.
So these ones have, like, crystallized sugar in them. Here's Ben Kenobi.
Damn.
And, like, the crystallized sugar is, they call it Kyber crystal pieces. So I'm not even going to open the other one because I'm happy that the blue ones exist. Hold on. I'll open it because, yeah. I'm assuming it'll also be blue because I'm assuming if they're all from one delivery, they're all the same color from, like, the production cycle. Come on. Oh, they're red. See? It's red. Cool. So this one got one of each. So maybe my theory is just wrong altogether. Here's a
Completely wrong.
stormtrooper.
Failure opinion.
Bro,
as it fell
these
apart.
ones are pretty cool though. Because I've only seen the red ones. Like, they have some cool characters. They got Jabba the Hutt. Or if you've seen Spaceballs, Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. We got Boba Fett.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool ones. But yeah, it's dangerous to have these because they are actually really good and not very healthy and very fattening. But you will be, maybe some of you, surprised to learn that Oreos uses real cocoa. So
They taste great.
yeah, they're really good. So
They're really good.
yeah. Anyway, I'm glad we got a blue. Okay, let's do this Acolyte thing. So there's been 3 episodes released so far, and obviously we know fans have said some wild things about the show, and people have called it the worst Star Wars anything ever, which I still think that award kind of goes to the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But
this is not the Book of Boba Fett bad. Like the fights I've seen so far are way more exciting than any of the, even like the big end battle in the Book of Boba Fett.
The fights in the
Very
Acolyte, there's 2 of them in the first 3 episodes. It's important to note also, again, spoiler warning, none of them are lightsaber to lightsaber combat.
Yeah, they're all kung fu,
which shouldn't be surprising. I know, like, they promised this whole best fight scene since Phantom Menace kind of thing, or since the prequels kind of thing. But in order for this to stay as like true to canon as possible, you cannot have the Jedi find out that there are Sith.
Yeah.
Because we know in the Phantom Menace, Ki-Adi-Mundi says the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. Which means they can't find out, which is probably also why May has to use unorthodox methods of killing Jedi.
Yeah, I liked it when she had that one guy drink the poison. I guess we're kind of skipping ahead. We'll probably be blurbing a lot about this today because it's been out for a while, but we'll probably do a more structured episodic review probably next week or something like that. Again, I'm still kind of like in vacation mode. So.
Yeah, sure.
But tonight, I'm just down to talk the whole the whole everything at once. Like, there was some good stuff here. Like, no doubt about that. And like, again, I really like the kung fu fights. I really enjoyed that a lot.
I think the fight between May and Carry-On Moss's Trinity's the Indara was good, and then the fight with Master Soul was good. Those are the only 2 fight scenes, and they're both really cool. Other than that, I feel, I'm gonna see, this is therapy for me. I feel that they want to tell some incredibly complex story, and unfortunately, I also feel like they're executing it incredibly poorly. Like,
yeah, I think so far I like it. I like the sets. I don't like her little droid. I guess I'll just shoot off the cuff about things I like and don't like while you eat your 6-day-old like Del Taco or whatever.
No, it's Pollo Loco, not El Pollo Loco. It's Pollo Loco. So what I do is I cook the chicken in a pot. You season it, and then you add rice, water, a bouillon cube, and then you cook it. Simmer it for 30 minutes, and then it's done. That's it.
Yep.
And I add cheese to it. Anyway, go on.
So what I like and what I don't like. I completely lost track of my frame of thought.
You hate the droid.
I hate the okay. So I hate how everyone's like. I like the little droid kind of from Jedi Survivor, but now it seems like everyone's getting their own little personal convenience droid to do things with, and I don't really like her little PDA droid that much. So that's one of the things I don't like. I like her character. I think it's interesting. I think the whole twin dynamic's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. I thought the witches were kind of boring. Cause, the Dathomir witches thing has just been used so much lately, all the time.
The Ascension was cringe as fuck.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Brother, if you're gonna do a chant, do a chant. Don't do this weird "the power of many." Yeah. Fucking stop, man.
Yeah, it was definitely really cringe a lot of the time.
I saw someone defending it, saying like, oh, it's like mocking religion, so it's supposed to be cringe. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not. Like, I get it, right? Like, sure, religion to a lot of people is cringe. Have you ever been to a Catholic church? Yeah. But Star Wars has never openly, like, as far as I know, mocked religion. Like, the Jedi are more or less a religion, and like they're just cool, and that's what Star Wars has always been. It's like things are cool. And that scene was not cool.
Yeah, it was really boring and one-dimensional and kind of cringe. Definitely kind of cringe. No doubt about that one. That being said, though, there were a lot of things like the fight scenes. I like Master Woe, whatever his name is.
Soul.
He's really Soul. Yeah, I really like him a lot. I like that Wookiee. We just got introduced to that Wookiee Jedi. It's cool to see Wookiee Jedis. I think there should be more Wookiee Jedis. You know, I just think that's like really cool. I really like getting that. I really like that. I like that meditating guy who was like so powerful in the Force. Like he had like a force field, you know, around him.
That's a Force ability that was first shown in the Darth Vader comic books, where essentially you use it to like try to reconnect with the Force and like overcome certain things. Like certain events make you feel kind of disconnected from the Force in certain ways, or like you question things, and so you go into like this meditative state to get closer. I don't really understand why, unless like when he's in this state he's like unconscious completely, but like he obviously he obviously heard her when she was like kill yourself, and like, you know, release the sins or whatever. Was he not aware when she was trying to murder him before that? Like, if he was and he wanted to, whatever, why not just let her?
Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he didn't want her to murder him because he knew that wouldn't be the right thing to do.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, for me, the strengths of the Acolyte are the few fight scenes we got, but also there's a lot of interesting concepts there and interesting ideas that they're playing with. I just think overall it's executed very poorly. And
so far, yeah, I guess it is also kind of early to tell. So
sure, but a lot of things feel rushed.
Yeah, you rushed, but also like I don't know, it feels unique. Like it does feel different. You know, there's something here. Like it feels like okay, they're making this era work. You know, there are a lot of people that are immediately turned off, but I'm not really immediately turned off by like the era itself. You know, maybe the Dathomir witch stuff was kind of cringe, but it's cool seeing like, you know, just Jedi temples everywhere and everybody knows who Jedi are and like, you know, yeah, you know.
Also, like, you know, the it's something that a lot of people have already done, but like again, conceptually a good idea is like, people aren't perfect and the Jedi aren't perfect, and part of the Jedi's ultimate downfall is their own belief that like they're this all-powerful mighty thing, right? And like it's like one of the first things Obi-Wan teaches Luke is for 1,000 years the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, right? And one of the first lines that May says when we first meet her to Indara is, you know, well, she says this really cringy, strike me down with all your might or some shit. And then Indara says, like, the Jedi won't attack the unarmed. And she says, that's a lie or something, right? Yeah. Implying, like, there's so much implication that there's more to this than we've seen. But, like, by episode 3, I don't care enough about these characters to have an entire episode of a flashback that doesn't interweave at all with your main narrative. Like, that to me is poor execution. I just don't care about this flashback thing. It's the entire episode. Like, I feel like episodes 1 and 2, they weren't great, they weren't bad. Like, it builds enough momentum for you to be like, okay, I want to see what happens next. And then all that momentum just dies because to me, they're treating the audience as if, like, we're not smart enough to know what's going on already. Let's show you all these weird details in this one episode. And, like, obviously in the future, they'll do this more flashbacks because we only see one part of this here. We don't know how all these witches died. Clearly wasn't from smoke inhalation. Why wouldn't they just walk out of the fucking castle? Who knows how a castle catches fire? I don't. Like, to me, that's all part of poor execution. Like, I like the ideas. Like, I'm not bothered at all by this whole, the thread thing. The thread. Like, people are mad about that. I don't care. Like, it's in A New Hope, we got Obi-Wan telling us that the Force is an energy field, binds us and blah blah blah, and then we have Yoda saying, the Force is, the same thing pretty much. Like, all living beings, essentially, contribute to the Force. Then we have Qui-Gon's interpretation in Phantom Menace, where he says, where Anakin says, "What are midi-chlorians?" And he says, midi-chlorians are microscopic life forms that reside within all living beings.
Even in that episode, like there is a little bit of a fucked up implication because like Qui-Gon Jinn says to Shmi, like, oh, if he was born in the Republic, he would have been like, inducted into the Order early, and then
Yeah,
she
like
gives him
like
kind of like
they would have found him, right? Like,
yeah, they and she gave them a kind of disturbed look because they do take children. That's what they do. That's what they do in the Republic. They say, hey, your child is Force sensitive. They need to get Jedi training and to completely detach from their family and everybody they know. And that's
right?
kind of fucked up. Like the implication
Yeah,
is there, and I kind of like that too. Because it's a big galaxy. It's like more fun to have these dynamics in the story than just have like depending on the movie, it's either black or white or it's like just shades of gray. Man, this is like trying to do shades of gray, and it's hard to paint shades of gray because all the gray looks the same. So it's just
yeah. Well, and Qui-Gon was also like very gray as a character, right? Like, he was kind of like the one, like he was, the representation of, I am a Jedi, but I also know that the Jedi are inherently flawed and will do what I believe is right regardless, kind of thing, right? So yeah, like, and even that, like, these ideas pop up here in the Acolyte where like the Jedi show up at this ascension, and we don't know exactly what to make of this. Are they saying, we want to give your Force sensitive children the opportunity to train and become a Jedi if they want? Are they there implying this threat of, we're taking the children because you shouldn't be teaching them these things? Like, I don't really know. I just know that, like, how it's presented is, hey, your children are Force sensitive. We can help them. If they don't want to come, then they won't come, right? Kind of thing. That's how it was kind of presented. But back to the thread, like, to me, it's just their culture or their people's interpretation of the Force, right? Like, not everybody is gonna like understand it the same way. It's not like they have like education classes on the Force in all parts of every galaxy, right? Like, it's, to me, it's their interpretation, and they might have an idea of how it works or how it doesn't work, and some of that can be true and some of that can be flawed. Like, we just don't know. So again, interesting concepts. Bad execution, especially when May says, "I don't want you to leave, so I'm going to kill you." Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. and maybe it's like this whole like sociopathic thing, but I don't think like 11-year-old children or however old they are, they're probably younger than that, right? Probably like 8 or something. But
they're very young, like 8 or 9 for sure. Well, yeah, maybe 10 or 11, maybe. Probably, I'd say that's probably at the oldest. Definitely not in their teens yet. Definitely like almost there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I do think, like you're saying, there's stuff to like, and I'm glad to see that a lot of people do like the Acolyte. And there's a lot of people who don't like it, and there's a lot of people who don't like it for the wrong reasons. But for me, it's a lot of interesting underlying ideas and just poor execution. Like, after episode 1 and 2, like I said, I was looking forward to what came next, and then to me, episode 3 just kind of killed all momentum that the series had going for it. And not because the ideas are bad, just because the dialogue and the storytelling isn't great. Like, if episode 3 was like interconnected with your main narrative and you'd go back and forth, I feel like that would have been more powerful and would have potentially been better. But yeah, what are your overall thoughts?
In general, I don't think I'll have overall thoughts until the series is concluded. Maybe they drop the momentum this episode. Maybe it's like where they drop the momentum this episode 3, and then they pick it back up again. We don't know. We gotta just keep chugging along and see what happens. How many episodes is it supposed to be? 11,
8.
10, 9, 8? Okay, so we're almost halfway there. They still
Yeah.
got a lot more episodes, 45 minutes per episode. I think if they're gonna have a real lightsaber battle, obviously the Jedi's gonna die and it'll be really intense and hopefully it'll be cool. I like the Kung Fu a lot. I mean, I'm a simple dude. And yeah, you're right. A lot of the Dathomir witch stuff was really cringe, and I feel like it's almost like a trope that's overused in Star Wars now. The Dathomir witch.
I don't even think they're Dathomiri.
Right, there's something witch. I don't know, man.
I think they're just a different coven. Also, just so like, I know that it's the narrative that's out on the internet is that it's a coven of lesbian witches. I don't think we can say that. I think we can only say that the 2 leaders are lesbians.
Yeah, and are just in a relationship, in a loving relationship with one another. So.
Do you have an issue with? Do you feel like this lessens Anakin being the chosen one? Like the fact that this witch lady used the Force.
No, I think they use dark magic or something like that to bring about false prophets. That's what I kind of think they're going for.
That's actually interesting. This is what critical thinking can bring to you, right? And this is why it's so important to talk to people and get other people's interpretations of things, because that never even occurred to me. And that's one of the main reasons I would never do this kind of thing full time alone. I need people like you who think differently and give me different perspectives. It's important. So, but yeah, no, that's a good idea. That's a good thought. And only one issue I have with Osha, and it's her fucking name. Please. Again, we live in California, so we're familiar with Cal OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Every time they say her name, I think of that shit. I'm like, oh god, oh god. And it's like this show was made, I'm pretty sure, in California. Like, come on, guys, could you have not come up with a better name for her? Like, can't you just extend it to Oshawa? And I know it's not her full name is not Osha because they called her something else during the Ascension, like Vosha or something, or just pronounce it differently, like Asha. I don't know. Does the name bother you?
No.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just mentally ill.
Well, we're all mentally ill. We live in the future, so it's kind of overwhelming for our dumb monkey brains. So
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else. The problem is with only 3 episodes. There's a lot here. They establish a lot. They do a lot. I just think that I don't know. I think we gotta wait, man. I think that's all I can really say is that we gotta wait and see. A classic Nerd Ledger phrase. There's only been 3 episodes. The fights were really exciting. Andor didn't have the best start, either. So we gotta give this a fair shake too. Yeah, it took Andor a few episodes, and this one had some cool stuff from the beginning at least. Andor just had a bunch of stuff that makes people confused. My parents don't want to finish Andor because of the first couple episodes.
The first couple episodes are tough. The problem with the biggest difference between this and Andor is Andor was 16 episodes. So 3 episodes of slow getting into it is okay to me. Whereas this is 8 episodes, and so if you don't have if you're not sucked in by episode 3, I don't know if you will ever be sucked in, or even think about it as the Book of Boba Fett, which was 6 episodes. Sure, the last couple episodes were pretty decent, but those were more episodes about the Mandalorian and not Boba Fett, so but it doesn't make the whole. It's same with Obi-Wan, right? The last few episodes were really good, but the series overall wasn't great just because the first 4 episodes were pretty not so good. So, but yeah, I guess if you're looking at 8 episodes of something, the closest you'd get is Game of Thrones, right? Because the first episode or 2 of that show, it's not that it's slow, it's just it's a lot to take in all at once, and that can be really difficult for people. But I mean, a lot happened. I mean, you're hooked. You're hooked as soon as Bran gets pushed out a window. I think so.
Yeah. And he used a lot of TNA to hook people in as well. That's
Yeah.
that was very present in the first few seasons of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So and they can't use that here. So unfortunately, they can't use it because it is a trope, but it does work at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Like that's how you grab people's attention. You have like naked people. There's some shows now that have hot naked dudes in them, like Bridgerton and stuff like that. There are a bunch of dudes walking around shirtless in Bridgerton all the time that are
Well,
chiseled like Greek gods.
well,
You
shirtless is
know,
a
so-
little different than like full weighing out on display. You know.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody's attracted to a sausage and eggs. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I think like dude abs and dude shoulders and dude butt. Yeah, like I think that's a lot of sex appeal. But like huevos and eggs, brother. Wait, those are the same thing. Sausage and eggs. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody's like, ooh, I can't wait to see that sausage. Like, it's just not an attractive thing.
Yeah.
So,
Depends on who you ask.
well,
Anyway, though,
I
back to Star Wars.
okay.
Back to Star Wars.
Star Wars, yes. So, you're going with the false prophets kind of thing. Somehow, May believes Osha is dead, and Osha believes May is dead. This entire, like, whatever, 13, 16, 18 years. And so May is wanting to murder Jedi, the four Jedi that showed up on the planet they're on, because all of these people died. Are we to believe that the Jedi murdered all these witches?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe there was like an accident and they burned something down or something, or maybe like I just I don't know. Like it depends, right? Like, but I think this will be it'll be really fucked up. Like 0 out of 10 in my book. If like in the next few episodes, like those witches like go fight the Jedi, and then like the Jedi come back with like an army of Jedi and troopers and like gun down all the witches. Like I think that'd be really fucked up and not a Jedi thing to do at all. Like they don't really do
yeah.
that kind of
And
stuff.
they most certainly would not have any troopers.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, like Republic troopers or whatever.
Maybe. I feel like the Jedi maybe probably are just running roughshod at this point in time, you know? Like they're just doing
Yeah.
whatever the fuck they want. They're like, hey, we're gonna go on our recruiting missions and abduct children. But not really abduct them, just tell them we're gonna give them a better life and then make them suffer. So I don't know. I do think it was very odd that Master Torben just killed himself. That was very odd to me. But yeah, so we know May's next target is the Wookiee. However, we don't know if she's actually going to continue going on with her plan because she now knows that Osha is alive. So we have to figure out why she has this vendetta in the first place. Whether it's because she blames the Jedi for killing all of the Coven or what. I don't know. So either way, we'll find all that stuff out. May is the Acolyte, the title of the show, and her master has a cool helmet and activated a lightsaber and said something like "kill the dream" or some shit. So, what do you make of all of this, Chair?
I think that it is 3 episodes in, and just going back to, I don't know what else to say. Like I think this is all cool. I like the sets and the designs. Like it feels like a different era, right? It feels distinct from the Clone Wars, and it feels distinct from the Civil War era, and it feels distinct from even like the Mandalorian and stuff, right? And I really enjoy that. I enjoy that they were able to do that with the setting and the music and the characters and like just the story that's going on in the background. I am like, I enjoy what's going on in the background, even if like, the witch stuff is kind of weird, even if this or that's kind of weird. The fight choreography is cool. I like the idea of throwing knives around with the Force is kind of badass. And again, I like that meditative guy like just deciding to kill himself because he's been struck with guilt. There's a lot of cool little
But
nuggets
guilt
here.
for what?
Guilt
All
for
he
something.
did was take a blood sample from her. Maybe do you think it'd be dumb if like they just feel guilty that because of their presence on the planet, bad things happened?
Yeah.
Like I get it if like they actively did something evil or like accidentally evil, but like if Torben like killed himself simply because he thinks if we never went to that planet, all those people would still be alive, despite the fact that May or someone else killed them all, I think that's really dumb.
Yeah. Well, we don't know because the episode is literally not out yet.
Exactly. Isn't it,
they could
yeah.
they could take the plot and run in a way that like completely blows your mind and that you really enjoy.
That's true. They could do that.
Mm.
They could do that. But yeah. Where are you at like overall? Like the first 3 episodes, you think it's like a 4, like a 6, like an 8 out of 10? Like where are you at?
Right now I'm staring at a lukewarm 7.
Really? That's pretty cool.
The stage is set for something really cool. They absolutely a 7 can also get into down to a 6, down to a 5, down to a 4, down to a 3, down to a 2, down to a 1, down to a 0. Because it could be awful, and it could be that the Jedi. Oh yeah, it turns out that the Jedi were just genocidal maniacs the entire time, and then Palpatine is the true prophet that's gonna come and save us and kill all the Jedi. Like if that's like the story they try to run with, yeah, it'll be a 0 for me. If it's okay, sometimes the Jedi like got really they grew fat on power essentially, and they started letting members into their order who weren't actually Jedi, just thugs with lightsabers. That's actually something I could see them doing, and actually I think I would kind of like that because there's Jedi temples everywhere and random planets all over the place.
Krell
So
2.0 or 1.0.
yeah,
Because Krell came after. But
I just think that I think there's a lot of good opportunity here. Like the stage is set. That's what I'm saying.
fair enough. Yeah, for me, I'm hovering at like a 5 right now. And I'm just hoping for the story to take more of a shape. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't value the interesting ideas and concepts as much as I value their ability to tell the story. So I hope that things get better for me, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it so far. So
I'm hoping to be amazed, but I'm also set up for disappointment. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm sitting in the middle of the scale right now.
yeah, yep.
And Wookiee Jedis are cool.
Yeah. Other than that, we have nothing else coming out, I don't think, except for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is July 25th, and then the Acolyte ends July 14th, I believe. So yeah, we'll have to find some news to talk about at some point, I'm sure. So anyway, you have anything else, or are we gonna end this one early?
I guess we'll end it early. I mean, do you have anything else to talk about? I don't really.
Not really, no. I mean, we covered whatever news there was. It's just Dave Filoni saying George Lucas is a busy man, and yeah, there's really nothing else. Good luck finding Star Wars Oreos because they're selling out already. That's all I'm missing.
I don't really need them. I just want regular Oreos.
Yeah, but but they have Kyber crystal pieces in them.
Whatever you say, I don't think you should be eating kyber crystals. I don't think.
But it's just crystallized sugar,
I don't know. That's a lie. I don't want any of that stuff.
Yeah. Also, when you bite into it, right, the outside is red or blue, but the inside is white still, which some people think is cheating, and they're like, oh, they just didn't want to give us all the red icing. But when you bite into it, to me, it looks like a lightsaber because the outside is the color and the inside is the white.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. There's a lot of thought that went into these Oreos.
Yep.
Definitely wasn't just a money grab by Nabisco. That doesn't happen. Yep. All right. Well, thanks everybody who listened, who tuned in. Feel free to share your thoughts anywhere that you listen to this. Rate, review, subscribe, like, comment, Blah. Bye.
Bye.